Yesterday we learned the shaker part and we learned the bongo part, the vowels playing as well. Well done, everyone. Hey, it's great to see you all today. What we're going to do today, we're going to carry on doing our next session here, and this is reggae, video number 2, Jamaican reggae. We're going to have great fun doing this. Now, if you haven't yet seen video number 1 in this reggae, you need to watch that before we watch this one, otherwise you won't know what to do. We're not going to recap all the rhythms again. We're going to go straight on and learn something new. Now, in reggae, you often have a drum kit player playing drums, the bass drum, the snare drum, cymbals and hi-hat and stuff. But actually, if you don't have one of those, then something else you can use to replicate it is an instrument that's called the cajon. And the cajon is being used more and more these days, and we love the cajon. And in fact, you can play everything that the drum kit would play on the cajon. So here we go. We've got Tim here. So Tim, you're going to show us that cajon. Now, it's a bit hard for us to see your face and to see the instrument, so we can just see you're sitting on top of a box. So Tim, show us what to do.
Yeah, well, the great thing is, as Mike says, you can make different sounds with a cajon. So up here it makes a high sound with a bit of a sizzle, and in the middle it makes a low sound. And we're going to play a rhythm that makes it's classic reggae, because it's using a thing called the one drop, which actually means that it goes one drop, one drop. It does exactly what it says on the tin. So the rhythm is 1 2 drop, and 1 2 drop, and 1 2 drop. But that's not the whole rhythm. The actual whole rhythm goes like this. It goes Jamaica and drop, push and drop, Jamaica and drop, push and drop. Try that on your legs. It goes like this. Jamaica and drop, push and drop, Jamaica and drop, push and drop. And remember, when you play the drop, you move to a different place. So try and move this hand forward when you play the drop onto your knee. So play your thighs and drop onto your knee. So it's Jamaica and drop, push and drop, Jamaica and drop, push and drop. And then when we play it, it goes like this. Jamaica and drop, push and drop, Jamaica and drop, push and drop, Jamaica and drop, push and drop, Jamaica and drop, push and drop. There we go. That's the cajon rhythm.
That's brilliant. Thank you so much there, Tim. Really, really nice to have that. So, yes, with that, he put a few words into his rhythm there. First of all, he had the word drop, which Tim mentioned is something that we often have in reggae. And there's a few different sort of reggae rhythms, reggae styles you could use. The one we're playing is called the one drop. So if you said to a drum kit player, we're going to play reggae and it's a one drop, they would know exactly what rhythm to play. And they basically play what Tim did there. And basically the one drop means that you play your bass drum, your kick drum, just once in the bar. But it doesn't happen on beat 1. And that's the thing that makes reggae have quite a unique, distinctive feel to it. Often we'd be used to putting that kick, that bass drum on beat 1, but it goes Jamaica and drop, push and drop, which actually really happens on beat 3. So you get this boom, boom, and it's that drop that gives it that unique style. But also, Tim used the word push, Jamaica and drop, push and drop. Now, push is another word that a lot of musicians use. A lot of jazz musicians might use this rhythm, or this word, and it basically means where you are pushing your note a little bit earlier than you'd expect it to be. So it's not Jamaica and drop, push and drop, Jamaica and drop, push. It doesn't happen at the same time as the pulse. We're pushing it a little bit earlier. Jamaica and drop, push and drop, Jamaica and drop, push and drop. So that is a really important thing, and that's what gives it a bit of syncopation. Syncopation, there's a word that we explained in our West African drumming video number 3. So make sure you have a look at that syncopation there so you can see exactly what we mean by that. But that push gives that lovely bit of syncopation. Now, you might be saying, well, that's great, Tim, you showed me how to play a cajon, but I don't have a cajon at home. So, Tim, let me just spotlight you again, Tim. So can you tell us, Tim, how do we, if we don't have a cajon at home, what can we do?
Well, if you are saying I don't have a cajon at home, actually, I beg to differ, because everybody has something they can use as a cajon. I mean, I just went for a quick walk around my house and I found lots of things. And the best thing I found was this, which is just, I mean, I know it looks like it's all fancy and everything, but basically it's just a cardboard box. And that means that, I mean, a cajon is a wooden box. So a cardboard box, surely that's going to work. And the answer is, yes, it does. Now, the trick is to learn to find the different sounds. And when you're playing them with your hands, that really helps. So if you play the middle, it makes a deeper sound than if you play the edge. Even if you play the edge where there isn't a sticker. It's a little bit like what Raoul has shown us yesterday with the bongos. If you use different parts of your hand as well, then you get different sounds. So if you play with most of your hand in the middle, then you get the deep sound. And if you play with your fingertips on the edge, you get the high sound, which means you can play Jamaica and drop, push and drop, Jamaica and drop, push and drop, Jamaica and drop, push and drop. So find yourself a box or even a waste paper bin on its side. It doesn't have to be square, but that does work best. And anything you can find. I've just looked across the room and I've got a tall toolbox that I could actually sit on and probably play that. I haven't thought of it up until now. I'm going to give that a go later. Back to you, Mike.
Thanks, Tim. That's brilliant. Yeah, that's really, really helpful. So yeah, you can have fun experimenting around with what you've got at home as well. Great. Now, also, we're going to learn something else. So also in Jamaican music, we often have a tambourine. So Fred, I think you've got a tambourine. If you could just unmute yourself, Fred, so we can hear you. So what we're going to do for the tambourine?
Okay, so I've got my tambourine here, and we're going to play quite similar to the shaker part that Tim showed us and Mike showed us. So we're going to go playing tambourine. Yes, I'm playing tambourine. Oh yes, I'm playing tambourine. Oh yes, I'm playing tambourine. So let's just break that down a little bit. If we can say it first, so we're going to start with playing tambourine. Oh yes, I'm playing tambourine. Ready? Here we go. Playing tambourine. Oh yes, I'm playing tambourine. Oh yes, I'm playing tambourine. Oh yes, I'm playing tambourine. Lovely. Now, all of the notes are shaking, and it's that swung quavers like we were talking about before. So we're swinging it the whole way through, and then we're hitting it on the reen of tambourine. So we're going playing tambourine. Oh yes, I'm playing tambourine. Oh yes, I'm playing tambourine. Okay, so let's give it a go. Ready? Here we go. Playing tambourine. Oh yes, I'm playing tambourine. Oh yes, I'm playing tambourine. Oh yes, I'm playing tambourine. Oh yes, stop. Lovely. Now, if you haven't got a tambourine at home and you've made one of the shakers, I haven't got a homemade shaker, but I've got a shaker here. So if you've made a homemade shaker like Tim, you could do the same thing on that. Playing tambourine. Oh yes, I'm playing tambourine. Oh yes, I'm playing tambourine. Like that. Or you could get experimental and maybe find some plastic or metal bottle tops and find a way of attaching them to something like a tambourine, the ring of a tambourine, and get a little bit experimental to try and make your own tambourine. Have fun.
That'd be great. Thank you so much, Fred. Yeah, and with that as well, Fred actually made that look very easy. But it is one of those things, it's the coordination that's quite tricky. So with that tambourine, you need to make sure you're going across your body towards your non-shaking hand first. So don't go outwards first, it's playing tambourine. Otherwise you won't be able to get the reen coming together at the right time. So you see, Freddie's so used to playing tambourine, he did it so brilliantly and made it look so easy, but it does take a bit of practice. What else can we put in our nice Jamaican reggae? Well, one thing we could get is a cowbell. And we have explained in our Cuban videos how to hold a cowbell properly, so I'm not going to explain that again now. Go and watch the Cuban ones and you know what to do. But the cowbell rhythm that we're going to play, we're going to learn it first, or we're going to say it first. It goes 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 5 and 6 and 7 and 8. Play cowbell. 1 and 2 and so you basically go all the way up to 8, and then we say, it's quite quick, quite hard to say it, play cowbell at the end. Should we try it? Ready? 3, 4. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 5 and 6 and 7 and 8. Play cowbell. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 5 and 6 and 7 and 8. Play cowbell. Great. Now we're going to try and clap this. Now here's the thing. We don't clap any of the numbers. Ooh, it's a bit hard. So it goes 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 5 and 6 and 7 and 8. Play cowbell. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 5 and 6 and 7 and 8. Play cowbell. 1 and that's quite tricky, I think. 5 and 6 and 7 and 8. Play cowbell. Great. So when we put that on the cowbell, it will sound like this. Should we try it together? Ready? 1, 2, 3, go. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 5 and 6 and 7 and 8. 2 and 3 and 4 and 5 and 6 and 7 and 8. Lost count. 1 and 2. It's easy to lose count. So that's the cowbell part. But maybe you don't have a cowbell at home. So Raoul has a cowbell. So Raoul, can you just unmute yourself so we can see what you could use? So Raoul, let me just spotlight you so we can see, because that is definitely not a cowbell you're holding there.
Well, it isn't. Actually, interesting that you say that, because why is it called a cowbell? Because normally a cow has a bell hanging on a neck. Can you see that? And it goes. So that is a true cowbell. Well, tiny one, but it's a cowbell. Now we are going to use a jump cowbell. So if you don't have any metal or any similar cowbell, you can have a mug. Now be careful what you're going to use. You can use a fork or a spoon, or a piece of wood, maybe a wooden spoon, but be gentle with it. And so you can knock on the, can you hear that sound? That's nicer than, yeah. So you just go for the top, not too hard. One, so remember, you never played on the odd numbers. So 1 and, so 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. And 5 and 6 and 7 and 8. Play cowbell. There you go. Play cowbell. Let's do it one more time. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 5 and 6 and 7 and 8. Play cowbell. Fantastic. Yes.
That's brilliant. Thank you so much, Raoul. Yes, so we've got all these different things we've got together. So there's quite a few things now. So we've got the shaker part we learned last time, we've got the bongo part, we've got the cajon part, we've got, what else? We've got the tambourine part and the cowbell part as well. So lots of different things. Now, when you have lots of different rhythms together, we call that polyrhythms. Go and watch our West African video number 2, and that explains exactly what polyrhythms are. But shall we ever go at putting everything all together? So you can decide which one of these parts you're going to play. You can see Tim there's showing us our cajon so we can see it nice and clearly. We've got the bongos, we've got the tambourine, I've got the cowbell. Because we've taught more parts than there are of us, we can't play all of them. So we're not going to play the shaker part, but because it's quite similar to the tambourine part. So watch Fred if you're playing the shakers. Shall we give it a go? 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, go! Who's party playing? Playing tambourine, and I'm playing tambourine. Oh yes, I'm playing tambourine. which goes 1, reggae 2, reggae 3, reggae 4, reggae 5, reggae 6, reggae 7, reggae stop. Maybe you're playing the cajon part, which goes 1, 2, 3, 4, Jamaica and drop, push and drop, Jamaica and drop, push and drop, Jamaica and drop, push and drop, Jamaica and drop, push and make the cowbell. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 5 and 6 and 7 and stop. Well done, everyone. Absolutely fantastic. Really, really great to put it all together. So this is not the end of the lesson. Remember that we are going to learn some more in lesson number 3. So do tune back in for that one. But also, you've got to watch the quiz on the website as well. You've got to have a go at the quiz. Make sure you can answer everything because we have given you lots of information today. See if you can remember it all on the quiz. Please subscribe to our YouTube channel as well, Inspireworks UK, and we will see you for video number 3 next time. Bye, everyone. Bye.
Bye.